Hey, what's up everyone? This is Eli from checkit.com here with an After Effects tutorial on everyone's second favorite day of the week, Effects Friday. And yes, we are aware we didn't make anything on Tuesday. Very sorry guys, we've been so busy. I didn't make something last week either. Like, we've been dropping the ball and it's not our fault really. I mean, we want to make stuff for you guys, but we just we get jobs, you know. We're freelance recording engineers and we're freelance filmmakers. We edit for a bunch of people. We're under all these individual contracts. It's just very sorry guys that we can't always make a tutorial for you. But today someone asked if I could show you guys how to make something in Element 3D. It's by Video Copilot. It's such a powerful plugin, you guys. It is amazing, and this is one of my favorite styles to use Element in, is that kind of classic white room look with you know, some optical flares going in. There's some ambient occlusion in there and stuff, and I will show you guys how I made this. But if you're too lazy to follow along, you can always download this project file in the description, so check it out. And yeah, if you guys could give the video a like, because we always provide you guys with some high quality stuff, that would be great. I will give you a thumbs up if you guys tell me what quote that was from, what movie that's from. It's an old cult classic. It's awesome. Okay, anyway, let's start a new project. Okay, so we have this blank session right here. So let's go over to this blank canvas area, and you will see this little button down here called Create a Composition button. So we're going to click that and make it however long you want. That's what she said. And you know, the settings that your computer can handle. This is not very intensive on your computer, but it can be with what we're going to be adding to it. So if you guys are scared, go down to, you know, 720p, but to just check it always does 1080p, because that's how we do it. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a background real quick. So we're going to right click in this blank area down here, go new solid, or you can just hit Control Y to make a new solid, and we're going to call this BG. And it doesn't matter what color you make it. And we're going to go over to this Effects and Presets tab. And we're going to search for ramp. It's going to create a nice ramp for the background. And let's switch it to radial. Let's turn up that ramp scatter a lot, so it gets a nice smooth transition. We're going to make the top one white. The bottom one, we're going to make a kind of darker grayish color. So it kind of fades to a darker grayish, maybe a little darker than that. All these "that's what she said" jokes right now, guys. Goodness. Okay, so we have a background now. That's very clean. I like it. Now we can move on to the element portion of it. So right click again, go new solid. This is what's weird about element. You have to apply it to a solid. It's kind of strange. So we're just going to call it element, just so we don't get it confused with anything. Make it, you know, comp size, whatever you want. Doesn't matter what color you make it, but just so it's different than the background, and make it white. Going to go over to here, and I'm going to type in element. Now I will put a link in the description where you guys can buy this at. It's at Video Copilot, but just to save you time, I'll give you a link. It's pretty awesome. I highly recommend it. It is so amazing. So once you apply it to a layer, you will notice that it is kind of confusing, and you're like, Eli, what do you do? Well, the first thing you need to do is you need to create something that element can be applied to. So let's right click and go new text. And let's just type in whatever you want. I'm going to just do something completely random, like, you know, check it, because I never do that. There we go. That's pretty cool. And this font is free on dafont.com or 1001 free fonts. Just look up Gang Wolfic. Strange name, but you know what? It's an awesome font, so I don't even care. And you don't have to do this, but I always just scale it up, because I feel like it just gets better quality, even though it just uses it as a map. You don't really need to do this. So drag it to the middle, and now we're going to drag it underneath element, and we're going to turn it off. Now select element, and you're going to go down to custom layers. Then you're going to go to custom text and masks. You can also create masks. It's pretty cool. I'm not going to get into that. I'm just going to teach you how to do the intro. But if you guys want a more detailed tutorial on element, I can get into everything if you want. But I would rather you guys learn how I learned and just play around with it. I mean, that's the best way to get better at something, is just to keep practicing, and you'll get better. Like, you know, I've been using this for a while now, and I'm pretty fluid in it now. So yeah, Anyway, back to the tutorial. We're going to select path layer 1, and we're going to click check it because that's the name of our text. And you will notice nothing happens. Now we go up to scene setup, and we're going to go to extrude. I mean, this is a pretty complex thing you got going on here, but the main thing you need to worry about right now is extrude. So go up there, click extrude, and it will extrude that object that you selected. So there's check it. Now to look around, hold down the right and the left mouse button, and you guys can look around like that and then just drag. Or you can change, like, okay, here. Let me show you this. If you click this environment button, you can see if you just do the right click, it moves the background. And if you just do the left click, it moves the text. But if you do them together, it moves them at the same time. So I just got used to clicking them at the same time, even though I don't ever really use the background. You can change the lighting here. There's a ton of great lighting just for this. That's what's weird about Element is it's all standalone. I mean, some things can be affected outside of it, but most of like animation, everything has to happen within Element itself, and I'll get into that in a second. So let's just select some nice lighting. I'm just going to do cinema, and you can always go into the environment tab and change the picture that you want. You know, there's a ton of great things, but I kind of like just keeping it on this because I don't even use the background. I use the custom background I made. So yeah, time to move on. So you guys can always go to materials and create your own in high depth, but I always just go to bevel and I just click a random bevel that I like. So click and drag it onto there, and you will already see, oh, you can use the scroll wheel to zoom in, and you will see that it just creates these nice looking things already. It's pretty awesome. You know, you can just keep clicking and dragging, and it creates these complex 3D objects that it didn't even take me any time at all to do this. It's pretty awesome. I think I used Sharp. No, I used Carved. And with that, I always just turn off draft textures because it just makes it better quality. And with that, now you can hit OK, and it will be in your project. So here's something that you guys need to learn. Element, it does not work with a camera. So if I go here and I go new camera, you know, like a normal 3D object would, if you select it and you make it a 3D object. Look at this. If you go up to the camera tool up here, this orbit, it's on just a layer. It doesn't work like that. So all the animation 3D wise within Element needs to be done standalone over in this animation center, but just go into World Transform and you just do everything within here. So yeah, just something I had to get out of the way. So position Z is how you can size it up. So if you go left, it'll size it up, and if you go right, it'll make it smaller. Okay, so there was a that's what she said joke somewhere in there, but I'm not going to say it right now. Eli, how did you do that cool turn animation? Oh, right over here, guys. And you do the animations within this World Transform over here. You can't really do them on the layer, else it as you saw, it's just literally a paper thin thing that looks retarded. So now let's do a quick animation. Let's do, which one? Let's do rotation, and let's do on the y-axis, and we'll go all the way to the left. Just make sure this timeline indicator is all the way left. And now we'll go maybe to about, how long do we want it to last? Maybe 2:15. Okay, and we're just going to rotate it. Whoa, too much. Okay, so now I'm going to go into the element so I can find exactly what I'm looking for here. World Transform, rotation. Okay, so here's our keyframes. I'm going to switch these around by clicking and dragging. And so now it starts on its side, and it goes and it goes and it keeps turning, and it's beautiful. So I'm going to select this keyframe, and I'm going to hit F9 to make it an easy ease keyframe, just so it doesn't just statically stop all of a sudden. It kind of slows down and then stops. It's way nicer. And there's our animation so far. Now, here's what we want to do. We want to make it get larger as because you have to fake a camera zoom just because it'll be boring if it just stays there the rest of the video, you know. So we want to fake a camera zoom. So how should we do that? Well, you can always go to the very beginning, and there's scale, but that doesn't really work the way you'd think it works. Okay, so we want to scale it up through the entire video, but when you mess with the scale option right here, it doesn't do it right. It kind of messes with it. So what we want to do is we want to go to position Z, and we want to mess with the keyframe there. So if you remember, that's how we scaled it up in the first place. So we can actually scale it a little bit more down, maybe make it 1620, and then go all the way to the end, then scale it up to where you want it to be in the very end. And that looks about good. I actually like that. So through the whole video, it'll just get bigger. That's what she said again. Goodness gracious. And with that, you're looking golden. And that looks kind of like it'll be kind of slow. So maybe make the rotation right about there. Okay. So next, we want to add some lights. That is something that can affect elements. You can mess with it by making it a 3D layer. And we're going to right click, go new, light, and make it whatever color you want. I'm just going to make mine white. Intensity. Now this is an ambient. Let's do spotlights. Let's do like 124, and that looks good. And you can see it actually messes with elements. Pretty awesome. So to mess with this light, we're going to switch the camera angle by going to active camera, and we're going to go down to the top view. And this will just help us out. I'm using the scroll wheel to zoom in and out. And I'm going to make this first light over on the left of it, maybe push it back a little bit, and then aim it, that little aimer right there. I'm going to aim it at the left side of the picture. And next we're going to have the light selected. We're going to go Control D to duplicate it. Then we're going to move this light. So let's move it onto the right side, and then we'll aim it over to here. And we can mess with those lights later. And we're going to do it again to duplicate it. This time, we're going to move it to the back. And we're just going to aim it and have a nice backlight. So let's move it to the left some more. Goodness, isn't this so much fun, guys? Okay, so now we can mess with the individual lights and get the exact amount of, let's go down to the light options. Let's amp up the brightness on the right side. This light, let's bring down the light options again. Just keep messing with it. And the backlight, I also want to mess with a little bit. Let's actually turn that up a lot. Okay, so now go back to the camera options and then go to active camera, and you will see, and our left light is a little too dark, so let's find it. Okay, let's amp it up. Boom. And you can move it a little closer if you want. I know I want to, goodness. Aim it a little bit more. There we go. That's looking cool. Okay, so here, if you guys are like, that didn't even do anything, Eli. Yes, it did, woman. And I will show you right now. Here's our backlight. Turn it off. You see, it gives it a little bit more detail on the edges. And same with these. Just lights it up. It's beautiful. Okay, so now we have our animation, and our lights are looking good. Gives it a nice look. So we can always add in the flare, but let's do that right now. Let's right click, go new, and we're going to just do, you can do anything really. Let's just do an adjustment layer and call this, by hitting enter, we're going to type in flare. Okay. And we're going to go over to the effects and presets tab, and then we're going to type in flare or optical flares, drag and drop it. And the only flare that I used was something, but here, let's do this real quick. Have flare selected, and if you don't have these blending modes, you can hit F4 to bring them up, and we're going to go add, just so you can actually see the optical flare, and then we're going to select the optical flares edit option right there. We're going to click and drag it up top, this top left corner. Now we're going to go into the options of optical flares, and we're going to scroll down, go to Pro Presets, and go all the way to the bottom, and there's this one called Winter Aurora. And I love using this one for all sorts of, special effects and stuff, because I love the way it adds color to the white background without just being insanely, like, you know, overdoing it kind of. Let's actually make it like 60. Okay, so now let's add some animation to this flare just so it's not boring. So let's go all the way to the beginning and then type or click on the stopwatch for position XY and go all the way to the back, and we're just going to move it down. Not too much, just a little bit, and then that'll just give it a very slow animation through the entire video and make it more watchable and more beautiful. And now we can just mess with a few more things for the check it. I mean, if you guys want, you can go into the element options, scroll down, and there's these render settings right here. And if you mess with these, it'll, you know, make the the overall project take longer to render and such, but you can get a kind of cool effect. Like for the environment, you can show that environment that we had in the actual element when we went up to the scene selection. You can show that background that you guys selected if you want. It's right there, but I like the background I created, so I'm going to keep that. But you have to rotate it separately right here. You have to animate the keyframes to go with it. Like I was saying, this is not meant to replace Cinema 4D or anything like that. This is meant to just make some projects easier and faster, which it really does. Now, ambient occlusion, this is what I wanted to talk about. This makes shadows more realistic and softer. And if you mess with this, if you put it up to 10, you can really see that it gives it that edge. I like some of it. I put the sample up so then it gets more smooth and such. Radius, I think I keep it at like 8, if I remember right. And I mean, just mess with it until you get something that you like. Gamma makes it darker so you can see more of it. And yeah, you can just keep messing with it. I'm going to keep it right about there just because I like the way it looks. I don't know why I do, but kind of adds just this soft look to it that I like. Okay, and with that, now I think I've talked about everything that I did for this intro, so we are done. Thank you guys for watching, and I will show you guys how to render. Just select down here, and you can always hit Control-M, and it'll bring up the render window, or you can go up to Composition, Make Movie, or Control-M. It used to say Make Movie, now it's Add to Render Queue. So yeah, I'm just going to make this a quick WMV, Windows Media, just because it saves a lot of space on the computer. So I could always replace that if I want, but I'll just go example 2. Hit save and hit render. And with that, guys, stay tuned to see what we created together at the very end. I will show it 3 times, and don't forget to give the video a like. It really does help us out. And we are very sorry that we haven't been able to make so many tutorials. We really want to. It's not like we hate making tutorials for you guys. It's just, this takes a while sometimes, and we've been pretty busy. So I'm sorry, guys. Hopefully you guys still love us, because we love you. And I will try to answer all the comments that you guys post in the first 1 or 2 days. So yeah, make sure that you try to talk to me. And I will see you guys next week. That is a promise. Well, I don't want to make a promise. What if something happens? I don't know. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys on the next Effects Friday. Peace.